Prior to the 1970s, the former Milwaukee Road operated two electrified sections on its Chicago to Seattle-Tacoma main line. The eastern section from Harleton, Montana to Avery, Idaho, and the western one from Othello to Seattle-Tacoma, Washington, totaled 656 miles. Filmed in April of 1974, just a few weeks before the end of Milwaukee electrification, these scenes show EF4 electrics and SD40s at Cobden, Drexel, and Avery, the western end of the Harleton-Avery section. Here is the power substation at Drexel. The Milwaukee's 22 substations use transformers to reduce the 100,000 volt AC current to 2300 volts, then used motor generators to convert the power to 3000 volt DC for distribution to the catenary. Milwaukee Class EF4 number E70 is on the table at Avery, Idaho, being turned for the return to Harleton. The Milwaukee had 12 of these giant locomotives, and according to a Milwaukee publicity release, the L'll Joes, as they were nicknamed, probably helped prevent the scrapping of electrification during the 1950s. We'll talk more about these fine locomotives during our look at the South Shoreline.
Toronto, home to Union Station and the Toronto Terminals Railway. Come explore the fascinating world of the TTR and its station, Toronto Union, Trains and Towers. Located on the north shore of Lake Ontario, Toronto is Canada's largest city and a hub of rail traffic. Toronto Union is one of North America's great railway stations and covers an entire city block, just south of Toronto's financial district. A GO Operations Centre was established at the east end of the commuter concourse to coordinate train, bus, and crew matters. The centre is staffed by both GO Transit and CN, thus allowing quick resolution should problems arise. Immediately east of Union Station, Scott Street controls an area 3/4 of a mile long. VIA operates an impressive number of trains on its high-speed Toronto-Montreal, Toronto-Ottawa corridor. Add to that a continuous flow of GO trains, as well as a number of freight movements, and Scott Street is indeed a busy interlocking. The tower, of the classic interlocking design, has seen little architectural change over the years. Its function is still to operate the 4 ladders which route trains to the assigned station tracks or outbound mains. Extending just over a mile to the west of Union, trackage in this area, with the exception of Bathurst North Yard, is controlled by John Street Tower. Once dominated by roundhouses, shop facilities and coach yards, the old railway lands across from John Street now boast the world-famous CN Tower. Further development and a requirement for access roads later cost John Street its roof, but beyond that, the tower is virtually the same as when constructed. The interior of John Street is very similar to that of Scott Street Tower, with the track diagram board mounted above and behind the interlocking machine and an elevated area in the bay window for the train movement director.